one, interrupting conversations. I know you've done this. I've done this where someone's sharing a story with you and you want to blurt out something and interrupt and share what you experienced without actually listening to the other person finish what they're saying. Right there, you're putting yourself in front of the other person as far as importance goes. You're saying, you know what, I'm going to dominate this conversation. I'm more important. What I have to say is more important than you. So you want to be able to identify that and catch yourself. Number two, one-upmanship, those one-uppers. I know I've done that before in the past too, where, you're hearing someone share about their story, their life, an experience they had. Let's say they were stuck in traffic and they were like, man, I was in traffic for 45 minutes today and it was crazy and all this stuff, and I left at this time, and you're like, oh my God, you should have heard this. I was in traffic today for 55 minutes today. And you're like one-upping the situation, like you guys are competing now for which experience was worse in traffic. So pay attention to that too. You might not think that that's your ego. It is though. You're expressing some sort of superiority over the person, the conversation. Again, dominance, control. Number three, micromanaging. So I see this a lot with parents when they're being helicopter parents with their kids. Also too in relationships, whether it be friendships, romantic relationships, you'll see partners kind of hover over the other person, nitpick at certain things, wanting to control every aspect of every situation. Like when let's say you guys are both, you and your partner or whoever, are meeting at one location, two separate cars, and you're telling the other person, make sure you park in this area because it's easier. Don't park next to this spot because it's more difficult. And then you're like, well, you know what? I've had good experiences there. No, don't. Just listen to me. Make sure you park here. Make sure you do that. That's micromanaging. It's a little bit more controlling. And you want to pay attention to that. When are you micromanaging certain situations? Sometimes you have to let go and just let things breathe and let things flow. So pay attention to that. Again, that has to do with control. Number four, ignoring feedback. This one's interesting. I've done this before a lot in the past. I sometimes do this now, considering that I don't really care too much about people's opinions when they're not qualified or verified and they're not living the life that I want to live. So if I'm hearing someone talk about giving back feedback to me about a situation that I'm going through and they've never gone through that, for example, parenting. When I hear a non-parent give suggestions about parenting, I'm like, you have no space here to talk. I'm going to shut them down, depending on who they are. And again, considering the source, are they even qualified to speak on something like this? What I do see a lot are people who are making mistakes and they don't want any feedback whatsoever, or, like they're wanting to improve, but you're giving feedback on whether it's the equipment they're using or the strategy they're using or the way they're thinking. Is it functioning? And a lot of times they'll shut people down because they don't really want to hear the part of them that is not succeeding. Like they don't want to face the fact that something's not adding up. And that again is ego.